had taken the fencing course, and it was good, you know, I was a good fencer, a decent fencer. We had a fabulous teacher, a guy named Fran Wedderberg, who was in the 20s. Fran was the best fencer in Canada for 7 years running. Nobody beat him. It was amazing. So he was a great teacher. He taught us some extra tricks for the theater and for, you know, things we could use in shows. And the more we got into it, the more he taught us, you know. So we learned a fair amount from him in actual fact, and that got us very excited. So I started, when I graduated in '73, the year after, my old chair asked me if I wanted to teach the fencing and stage fighting there, and they'd had fencing, but they'd never had stage fighting. I'm what they call a fight master, so after about 20 years of experience, and you do a lot of this sort of thing, you get more and more experience, training, and we never stop our training. In Western Canada, I was the only guy who did it. So west of actually Toronto, it was me. Yeah, that was back in the mid-70s. After that, I started training people, and now we have fight directors all over the country. Then I taught most of these people, and most of these people. Taught her in Edmonton, and then she did 4 years on Lord of the Rings. Yeah. I never stopped the fighting. I always kept it going. And then over time I've amassed a huge sort of armory of equipment, swords and daggers and all that kind of stuff. So I have a lot of gear, which I rent out to operas, ballets, and theater companies, all kinds, high schools, everything, you know. It's a lot of fun to do. It's work sometimes. It's hard to train some people, but over time, if you have adequate time, you can train almost anybody. And it's just a lot of fun to do. And all the fights are, you know, they're different from time to time. In the ballets, all they did when they fought is they went tack, 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 tack. And that was the whole sequence, counting to 8. So they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, that kind of thing. And it was the same pattern all the time. So when I went, I didn't know that. So being a bit sort of stupid about it, I went in and said, oh, well, we have to train them how to fight. So we changed the whole choreography of the fights. We kept the choreography of the dance, but we changed all the fight moves into real fight moves. And when that went around the world, people saw it for the first time. They saw Romeo and Juliet with real fights in them. And all the ballet companies around the world started doing the same thing. They all switched. There's two kinds of rushes you get from it. If you forget a few moves, it's a freak-out rush, you know. But there's also when it works, when it's really working well, then you get a real high off of it. So it's like doing something. It's like skiing down a hill. You know, if you're racing down a hill. I don't know if you ever skied, but so when I skied, I had long skis and they were pretty fast, and I got really excited the faster I go, and if I could really cut it on the way down, for me that was very exciting. It's the same with these. If you do a good fight and you have a good partner, it's the same kind of rush, and sometimes it's even better than that because it means you're in tune with somebody else. So that means the two of you are, it's never just one person, it's the two of you, or the bunch of you are all working at a certain level. It's very exciting, lots of fun. The audience is eating it up. It's romantic. It's all those things that you always dreamed of when you were a young guy, and you thought, wouldn't it be great to be, you know, the sword fighter? And now you can actually do it, but you get to live. You don't die, nobody dies at the end, you know, because it's staged.